Welcome to another episode of the Butterfly Mindset Podcast.
Left late night, what a mess. We woke up and we're still obsessed. Can't keep it straight night and day. We keep it classy, still we stay.
Welcome to another episode of the Butterfly Mindset Podcast. Today I have my good friend Danielle Fehmel. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi.
I'm so excited about this.
I'm excited too.
Because one, we used to have podcasts together.
Yeah.
And two, because we've been trying to do this for a year.
Yeah.
To have you on. And I'm actually happy that we did it because over the last year, you've had so much growth in your business.
Yeah. Which
is so exciting for me. And so I'm really excited to talk about all of it.
Let's do it, baby.
But before we get into where you're at right now, I kind of want to rewind to how did you even get into entrepreneurship or real estate in general?
Okay, what's so funny is I think I was just born with entrepreneur in my blood because my parents tell me this story way back when my dad got involved in some Arbonne of back then or something like that, back in the day. And I remember it was called TPN. I don't know why I remember that. But we went to a hotel. We went to a hotel for Disneyland and I wrote out flyers and said, call my dad for TPN and our home phone number. And I was sticking it underneath all of the doors at this hotel. All these families just want to go to Disneyland. But so anyways, I think that from that to I always had my first job, I called it daily jobs. And I put up posters in my neighborhood asking people if I could mow their lawn, if I could wrap their Christmas presents for them, if I could do whatever to make a buck. I was always doing stuff like that.
Wait, so your dad was doing TPN?
Something, yeah. Uh-huh. I don't even know if that's still around. He was doing something.
So we don't even know what it is. We don't know what you were advertising.
Oh, I don't know what it was.
And then you're like, let me help Dad.
Yeah.
So you start doing that. And so where did the idea of your daily jobs come from? It was just you thought about it?
I just wanted to make some money. I was I've never been afraid to work hard. And so I wanted to make some money. So I made my jobs, daily jobs, and I put it everywhere. It was whatever people wanted me to do, I would do it to make a little bit of money.
So was your dad always an entrepreneur?
Yeah. My dad's always been an entrepreneur. So now he owns his own business at home and he has a street sweeping company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that's what he does.
What a trip. So you probably saw that. That's how he had to go make his money.
Yeah.
So just, why wouldn't you go?
Yeah,
create?
Naturally. And I my dad taught me from the very beginning that whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. That kind of mindset. And so I've always been ready to go out there and get after it. And I'm never going to believe that I couldn't do it. You tell me I can't do something. I'm let's go, And so, I saw that in him. And I don't know if he ever listens to this podcast, Dad, I love you. I was okay, what is he doing? How can I do it better?
Yeah.
And then just got after it. And now here we are.
I love that.
Yeah.
So then you're doing these daily job things growing up, and then how old were you? Or what?
I was 8.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I was 8, 10, and then from it graduated to I became the babysitter of the neighborhood, and it was there's kids that are running around doing crazy stuff, but I was babysitting Pumpkins, just cashing in, saving up, trying to do all the things. I love to spend money. I wish I could say I was really good at saving my money. That's definitely not the case. I love buying things. I still do. So, but I've always kind of been in that hustle mode,
So where, you were doing that. What were you doing? You were just basically just going out and buying. But what was your end game, your thought process? Just make money? You didn't?
I just have always had, I think I've always known that I was going to be successful, but I didn't know what that meant. And at the time I equated that to finances and money and buying things. And now success is a different, definition for me. But back then it was, I equated working hard to making money to you know, pride from like my family. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that was always a big motivator. I mean, I'm the oldest daughter. Like, you see memes about that everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like the leader of the family. And then, it's just, it's in my blood.
Yeah. So it's interesting because then after, let's say, high school or whatever, then what did that look like?
Okay, so I knew that I wanted to come down to Long Beach for school. So I got a job at Starbucks knowing that I would be able to transfer down here to Long Beach. So I did.
Okay, wait. So rewind. Where are you from originally?
Northern California.
Why Long Beach?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I went on like this college tour. I checked out Long Beach. I checked out San Diego State. And there was something about Long Beach and the campus that just like felt really natural to me. I liked that it wasn't so like flowery, just more like big open grin amphitheater style. Like I just felt drawn there. And honestly, I didn't know anyone in Long Beach. No one that I went to high school with was going there. Like maybe one or two people, but no one I was friends with. I was like, okay, like what's like the most uncomfortable situation I can put myself in, and did it without even like really thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like now I recognize that when I'm uncomfortable, that's something I need to go do. But back then I was just like, oh, like I guess I'm gonna go try this out.
Yeah.
And I did. And
what a trip, because like Long Beach isn't like one of those schools that people are like you usually hear,
I just thought
like,
it was cool.
Everybody knew about it or
I
whatever.
remember my
It was just
dad,
like,
he did
you
not
can't-
want me to go. He was like, I'll buy you a Mitsubishi Eclipse if you stay home. And I was like, no, I'm out of here. I'll go buy my own car.
Hell yeah. Like, have you heard of Daily
I never got the Mitsubishi Eclipse. I will say that. But
That's... Oh, look at you.
we're doing fine. It's
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
We've graduated.
So you come down to Long. So wait, you said you came to
Okay,
look
so
at Starbucks.
I have always been such a workhorse. What I was doing was I was like babysitting, nannying during the day. I remember like this was my Friday schedule. I worked at Starbucks. So I was nannying and I was like, when am I not working? When can I make more money? Then I got the job at Starbucks knowing that I was going to be coming down here. I worked at Starbucks 4 to 8 a.m. And then I would nanny for a family from 9 to 1. And then I would go to a different family, pick the kids up from school. And then I was there until like usually 5. And then I had a family that I would babysit for at night. So like that was my mindset at the time, which now looking back, I'm like, that's not very healthy. But that's where I was at, you know? And then I came down here to go to school. And so I was in school and working at Starbucks. And then from Starbucks, I graduated to like Aroma d'Aroma, which is more of like the serving side of things, making tips and stuff. And it was, you know, kind of a graduation into that customer service realm.
Yeah. So you came down for school, or you came down to work at Starbucks so that you could go to school there?
No, I was coming down to Long Beach State, and I got a job at Starbucks knowing that I would be able to find a Starbucks down here that I could work.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now I connected it. I was like, where did the Starbucks come before? Okay.
Yeah.
But so you transferred down, basically.
Yes.
And so and then you're going to school. What'd you go to school for?
Like 100 different things. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. It took me a very long time to graduate college just because I kept on changing my mind. I just like nothing. I mean, so originally I thought that I wanted to be a speech language pathologist. Realized that was a lot more sciencey than I had realized. I thought it was going to help kids learn how to talk, and then didn't realize it had to do with like the mouth and the ears and your brain. And I was like, no, thank you.
You're like, I like talking.
Yeah, like I don't want to learn about no science, thank you. And so then I moved over to like a journalism background, linguistics, and I ended up graduating with English education and a minor in linguistics.
Oh wow!
To, like study languages, because I thought that was all fascinating. Like I've always been into that, and I still think that like I don't know, phonetics is super cool. I'm nerding out right now, okay, but I realized I was like I don't really want to be a teacher. Maybe I like teaching, but like a teacher in the capacity of what I was going to school for wasn't my dream.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now you're working as a
I'm such a
server.
mess. I've been all over the place.
I love it because it's the thing is like, look, like this whole podcast is about success breeds success. Like this whole podcast is like, it's little things that create big change. Right. Yeah. And like your story already is filled with like these little things that like, okay, it makes sense why you're where you're at.
Yeah.
Because I know the whole picture, but a lot of people at the time, you don't know the whole picture. Yeah. So like there's someone that's going through exactly what you went through in college,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing what they want to do. And like, hopefully your story maybe can inspire that person to be like, okay, there is something there for me.
Yeah.
It
There's
might not
always
be
a
this, it might be
story for everyone. And I think people look at someone and think, oh, like, look how successful they are. And it just happened overnight. But it's like, this is the story of how I got there.
Yep.
I'm going to be balling one day.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I worked at Starbucks and
Yep.
I paid my way through college being a server. And you know what I mean? And people don't recognize that part of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You're already a baller. But yeah.
Or just get started, baby.
So you are working at Aroma as a server. You finished college.
Mm-hmm.
You're still working there?
No, I'm at Riley's.
Okay, now you're working at Riley's.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm going to be an English teacher? Like,
no,
what was
I was
happening?
like, what am I going to do? That's where I was at this point. I was like, what am I going to do? Because at the time I was working at Riley's, I had all of the good shifts. I was making great money at the time and cash. You know what I mean? It's like I felt if I wanted to go on a trip, it's like, oh, I'll just go pick up a shift or two and then you can go and do whatever. And it was really, really awesome. I was building all these great friendships and great relationships, but I just was like, I didn't want to do this for life. Like, what am I going to do? And then I was truly one of the trillion people in the world that are like, oh, I'll just go get into real estate. I'll have a flexible schedule. I'll be able to help someone buy or sell a house once or twice. And I was that person.
But where did the real estate come from? Like, where did
people were coming in and drinking on a lunch break. And I was like, I can do that. I can drink at lunch. Really good. Honestly,
Wait,
no.
so you're telling me you're in real estate and you're okay.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Yes, that's the path, Mom. No, there was just brokerages up and down 2nd Street everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we had a great lunch special. I was serving people all the time. Some people came in alone. Some people came in with clients and whatever. And I was like, I could be really good at drinking that lunch too.
So then you went and started getting the real estate
That's really like what I thought. Like I was like, oh, like this looks really cool. I didn't know anyone who was successful in real estate. I just thought, oh, like I could probably do this.
Well, it's so interesting too because like it's a lot of people get into real estate for that way, but they don't have the work ethic to actually be successful in it. So like they see, oh, I can work from the beach. I can work from home. I can go at my lunch break and grab a beer and yada, yada. But they don't have the work ethic that allows them to be successful and sustainable over time.
For sure.
Where they get into the business, they do this, oh yeah, this is my lifestyle. I'll go have a beer at lunch and do this and do that. And then they're out of the business in a couple of years because not closing deals.
Yeah. I think about like when I first got into real estate, how much time and money I spent at Target just because I could go there in the middle of the day, and now I'm like, if I have a 2-hour gap in the middle of my schedule, I'm not going to Target. I'm in my office getting stuff done.
Yep.
Like that was like a big mindset shift for me. Like I used to run around all the time when I was a newer agent.
Yeah. 100%.
Whatever. Because I could.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I could, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
like all the choice, right? Like,
exactly.
So then, so you decide to get into real estate. You how'd you know what to do? Did you just ask one of your customers or something? Or
No, well, I mean, yeah. So someone came in and they're like, oh yeah, when you get your license, you can come on over to our brokerage and blah, 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 whatever, recruiting.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like a little puppy dog, thought it sounded awesome. I was talking to my mother-in-law about it. And at the time my brother-in-law played baseball and she introduced me to someone on my brother-in-law's team's mom was a very successful real estate agent.
Yeah.
And so she actually had a front desk position at her company. Like I'm talking entry level admin. I make the joke, but it's not really a joke. I was licking envelopes and putting stuff in the mail, and she had that position available. And so I didn't need that job. I think I made like $13 or $14 an hour. I wasn't doing it I applied. I almost didn't get it because I really didn't have any like front office experience in any capacity. They almost went with someone else, but appreciated that I had the drive to be in real estate one day. And so I got the job, thank God, because I don't know if my real estate dream would have come to fruition had that happened.
Really?
I don't know. I didn't know anyone who was like, she took me under her wing, showing me all of the things, and I was so grateful for that. So anyways, I started off I didn't have that before. I would have, you know, I know that I have the work ethic to be like successful in something. You know what I mean? Put me into something and I'm going to figure it out and make it work for me. But, you know, you know what? That's not true. I would have still been in real estate, but my journey would have been way different.
Way different.
Way, way, way different.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it would have gone, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting because you go from like, you're probably making more money at Riley's.
Way more. Oh
right?
my God. Yeah.
But you're looking at, you decide to go lick envelopes because
I didn't quit Riley's. I did both.
Okay.
I did both.
So you're doing both. So, but then why even put up with this, right? It's because you saw long-term vision.
Exactly. I saw long-term vision and I knew that I was like, you know what? Like getting into real estate, it's going to be a big leap for me, being someone who could just go pick up a shift and make a couple $100 and feel like I'm not broke anymore, to like technically being unemployed in some capacity and waiting until I closed a sale in order to get a paycheck. Yeah. You know, and so I really just considered it as like dipping my toes into the real estate world. Is this something that I wanted to do? Is this something that I like doing? And I just saw the way that they ran their business and did things with their clients. And I was like, okay, like I like this. Yeah. You know?
So how long did you did you work as a front desk?
Okay. So honestly, it was too long. Because at a certain point, I remember they sat me down and said, Danielle, what's up? You told us you were going to get your license. And I was just super comfortable. You know, I was like working during the day. I'm no stranger to having multiple jobs. So I was working during the day. I was, you know, working at Riley's at night. And, you know, they're like, what's the next step? When are you doing that? And I was like, you're right. Like, I'm just coasting right now.
So you hadn't started your real estate license?
I had started it and I let it lapse. I got it and then I missed out on the 6-month time frame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I bought my classes or whatever it is, like a year or something. And it lapsed. I ended up having to buy it again.
And then you had to redo it. And
then I did it again. And so I actually got, at a certain point, I don't remember when it was that I quit, because I still worked at that brokerage. Yeah. I quit the front desk experience. Yep. And just became an agent there. Just for a little while. Experience. Yeah, I'm like, I wasn't there in that capacity anymore. I was there just as an agent. Yeah. But that transition was kind of weird for me because I was just there. I don't know. It was like I felt like all of a sudden I had all this free time. Like I didn't recognize I needed to be in there working, and so you know. So I remember I got my license in December, and I was half agent, half Riley's girl. Yeah. For a while, and nothing was happening. I was like thinking that I was working and recognizing now I'm like, you weren't working, you know, like it's funny. It's funny that you think that, you child. And then I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to stop half-assing things. Yeah. I was half-assing, you know, real estate. I was going down in shifts at Riley's because I needed to focus on real estate stuff, whatever. And I wasn't selling anything. Yeah. And eventually I was like, if I'm going to be serious about this, I got to like hold the plug, like get rid of the lifeline. Yeah. Whew. I remember that day, and I was so sad. I was like bawling my eyes out when I loved working there. I loved working at Riley's. It was just time to graduate, you know.
So, what was that like decision making process like for you? Because like that is a hard thing when you know, okay, this is giving me money. Yeah. And this is not giving me money. Mm-hmm. But I have to let go of this thing that's giving me money in order to do, like, what was that like, that experience like?
It was rough. Luckily not, I had Connor, so my husband. Yeah. We were married at the time, very, very young, newlyweds, and I just really believed in myself. And what we did is, like, I had this idea that something, like, some catalyst was going to be happening, like, so we'd been stocking away money and saving because I was, you know, we were splitting everything. And then I knew all of a sudden I wasn't going to be contributing to our income anymore for a little bit. And, you know, we just decided as a family, you know what, Danielle, like, you got this, go in. I just really had to, like, one, believe in myself, and he believed in me, but also, like, that's a shit ton of pressure. Yeah. To be like, are we going to downgrade our apartment because I can't sell anything? Like, it was hard, you know, to make that call. And we just leaned into each other, and I made it. I remember I gave my notice. I was like running the show there for a little while. felt like that at least. And so I gave like a much bigger than 2 weeks notice. I think I did like, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. I remember my last weekend working was Memorial Day. So May. And then by August, I had 4 escrows.
Hell yeah.
I know. So I like finally like stopped and I had to go full force into real estate. I remember my last day was right before Memorial Day. Connor and I went down to San Diego and just partied our faces off, like one last hurrah. And then I came back home and got to work and started finally selling stuff.
I love that. So how long was it before from when you got
6
your
months.
license? 6 months?
Yeah.
And then with nothing.
Nothing.
And then you say, I'm going all in.
Yeah. And it was from June. And then my first escrow closed August 8th.
So do you think that was the difference maker? Now looking back at it, it's basically like,
quit?
yeah, like this is the thing. It's like I have so many agents that call me and they're like, okay, I'm doing this, but I'm also getting into real estate, blah, blah, blah. And I try to explain, like, if you want to do something and be successful at it, you got to like go all in.
Yeah.
And I think your story is so like, it's such a like, boom, like clear
there
picture.
it is. There it happened.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
nothing to like, do you think that was it? Or did you change other habits along with that?
No, that was for sure it. I'm still myself. There's like nothing different about me. I mean, I'm a lot more organized now. I have to be.
Yeah.
I never realized I was type A ever until like the last couple of years. I'm like, whoa. But like, I'm still myself. It's just, I had to put all of my eggs in one basket and be like, we got to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
So then you do that. You're working with this team.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have your own team.
Yeah.
So like what was that like going from like individual producer on a team to top producer in the company to like, okay, maybe I should go do my own thing?
You know what? Like I never really thought of it. It's like mirroring experiences.
Yeah.
You know, like I never really thought of it like that, where like all of it, I'm getting, at a certain point, I just had to like, I had this inkling that I wanted more, that I was meant for more. I was destined for more greatness. And I just had to go all in. You know what I mean? And it was the same exact thing in a way, where I went to this place that I loved so much. Like when I went into Riley's and was like, I'm leaving, I'm betting on myself, I gotta go, I was sobbing hysterically because I loved it there. It wasn't anything about Riley's. It was that I knew in my heart that I wanted more and I was capable of more.
Yep.
I just needed to bet on myself. And then now we're having a therapy session. Yeah. No, but it's like I recognized that when I had gone to my previous broker, I was hysterical. I was sobbing because I love her so much.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to her for so many things, but I knew that I needed more in my gut.
Yep.
And the only way that I was ever going to figure out what that was is to go for it.
100%. And I think like, it's funny because like, it's so interesting. I was talking to somebody the other day about like their, like a friend's significant other where like we see all the stuff, but they don't see it or they're in a relationship. And I'm like, that's not going to work. You know, like you can't be, Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think that I know I saw it for forever. And I probably told you a million times, like, you should do your own thing. Well, have you ever thought about doing your own thing?
Yeah, I know.
And I think so many people saw that too. And it's like, but at the end of the day, like those moves don't happen until you feel
you're
it.
Really ready. Yeah.
And then it's still a hard conversation.
And then it's still like it's an inkling in your brain and you're thinking about it, but it's not, it takes all of a sudden, like you really, like at least for me, it's like I'm committed. I wake up one day and I'm like, what am I? And it's anything in life, whether it's like, I want to work out more or I want to go do this thing or I want to book the trip. I'm like, just do it. And I just go do it.
Yeah. Well, it's all choice.
Yeah.
It's like what we were talking about before. Someone told me this recently and it like is like a really good way to put it, right? It's like they were trying to figure out like making this decision or that decision, right? And you're like, what do you do? What do you do? And you're playing pros and cons, you're doing all this. And it's like he was like stressing out and his dad told him this. And then I like heard it. I'm like, oh, this is like, I'm keeping this forever. he said, he was like talking to him. And he goes, he's like, I don't know what I should do, what choice I should make. I want to make the right decision. And his dad told him, any decision you make, you can make it the right decision. Mm-hmm. So you stay at the brokerage, you can make that the right decision, or you go and you can make it the right decision if you choose to go do it. Mm-hmm. Those are the actions that you make on a daily basis. Like if you choose that you want to go to the gym every day, like then you have to take actions on a daily basis to go to the gym. Then you're going to go to the gym every day. But if you say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym every day and you take no action for it,
doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
I read somewhere that so much of our time is wasted on indecision and just like wondering like what to do. And I saw somewhere, God, I wish I remember where it was, but if you are like 55% on something and the other 45% you're not sure, just go with it. Like, because you're wasting your time acting on it when chances are it's right. And if it's not right, then you have more time to figure it out. Yeah. Like most of the time, all of those small, insignificant decisions that we make every day, like people, I used to sit there, I'm like, what smoothie do I want to get? I'm like, this is not affecting my life. Why am I spending time doing this? The amount of decisions that we have to make that are actually going to fundamentally change the course of our life are very few and far between.
Yep.
Those ones you can spend a little bit of time on. But like otherwise if you want to commit to something, just make the freaking commitment and go do it.
Well, that's like most of, I think with, yeah, you're right. It's like life in general, entrepreneurship, whatever, but like it's execution, right? Like I always say like there's 3 steps. It's visualizing it, it's mapping it out, and then it's executing. Yeah. I think the execution is arguably the most important piece because if you execute, you execute, like eventually you're going to hit the right decision.
Yeah.
Right? Like eventually you'll get it. Like,
you're doing stuff that's 10 times better than just being paralyzed.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and there's a lot of people that get stuck in the visualization stage where they're like, they have all these dreams, but they never take action to map out.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people that get stuck in the mapping out, which is that like analysis paralysis where it's like, oh, you know, like, but then I got to do this and then it's got to look like this and then it's got to, but it's like, sometimes you just got to do it.
Yeah, just go do something.
And then it ends up finding, like...
If you wait for it to be perfect, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. 100%.
It's never going to happen.
It will never happen. And you'll never have progress to it. You'll just be sitting there.
No.
You know? It's like, it's like you plant a seed and you just stare at it. It's like, if you never water it, if you never do it and take care of it, like, it's never going to grow. You're just going to stare at it and you're going to be like, why isn't it growing? Like, or even worse, like you stare at the dirt and say there could be a flower there.
Go do something about it. Go plant your flower.
Exactly. Exactly. So you tell your other broker, you're like, hey, you know what? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. As you're crying hysterically. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, now I'm going to go do my own thing. Yeah. And then you're like,
what do I do?
I know because we had conversations.
I was like, what do I do? No, it was all fine because I mean, I know what to do. Yeah. I know at first it was, my focus wasn't on like building my team. It was getting all of my systems were already done for me before.
Yes.
And then it was like, okay, I need to get my like foundation back in order where it's just like me, what do I do? Like, and then get back to like the basics and just like reaching out to people, building relationships, all of that kind of stuff to help build. I felt like all of a sudden I was taking like a step back in my business, but it wasn't that. People were rooting for me and championing me all along, which is incredible. So I really got like my absolute basics and foundation just back in order just so that I could run my own business before I supported anybody else.
100%.
You know, and you know, that took a little bit because I understand that systems are so important and basically the basis of everything, but I have never had to create them on my own.
Yep.
You know, they were just like, here, this is what we do. And I'm like, okay, and I'm going to go execute it. Yeah. But like to actually have to like line that up on my own, that was probably the most difficult thing, was figuring out all of that stuff that was always just done for me because the big company before had already done that. Yeah. And then I had to do it. And that was difficult for me also because I don't think it's fun. It wasn't like what I enjoyed doing, so it made it rough.
Yeah. So as you're going through this process, you're like, okay, I'm building my SOPs.
Yeah, whatever.
Right. And
don't even say that word.
it's like what I nerd out on, which you know that already.
Awful.
I'm like, that is like my like systems and processes.
I nerd out on going and drinking out loud. So no.
So there's this, there's that.
Yin and yang, babe.
Hell yeah. So you're building out your processes, and then like where did it like, because you have with your team, you've built your team, you launched your team, absolutely crushing it. I love it. I'm like
thank you.
So excited about all of it. It's ridiculous. You have a business partner. Mm-hmm. So how did that come? Like you're like, you go from like, hey, I'm gonna work on my own, go do my own thing, start building my systems, and then it's like.
So it was a really natural, easy thing, and it just happened. I really feel like, so my business partner, Rachel, I love you. She and I had met at my previous brokerage. Yep. And just really hit it off. I loved her work ethic. I loved her values, the things that she stood for. And we just got along really, really well. And she's good at things I'm not good at, and vice versa. I really feel like we complement each other. And one thing that just happened, I feel like it was like God just laid out this path and said, here you go. You want to do this and you want to do this. And we just like grabbed each other by the hands and stepped into the path kind of thing. Yep. It felt like whatever that you believe in, the universe was like, this is the way that you should go. And it was like, we heard opportunity knocking and was like, this feels right. Let's go for it.
I love that.
I'd always was like, okay, I'm going to start a team. I'm going to be the head honcho. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And then when we realized that maybe we're better together, it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was like, I want to go do this, and then I'm going to go find someone who wants to work with me. And it just naturally happened because it just felt right. And it still is right. Yeah. You know what I mean? For now, like things are always going to change. Things are probably going to look a little different 20 years from now. But for right now, I couldn't imagine doing anything else with anyone else.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, I built my real estate company with a business partner too. One, entrepreneurship is a lonely business. Yeah. Lonely just in general, it's business, but it's lonely, right? And so sometimes when you have someone that like, one, you care about, and two, also puts things on the table that you can't put on the table, or that you don't want to, or that you're not as good at.
Yeah.
Right? When you put those, it's like a relationship.
Yeah.
Right? It's like when you create a business, it's like you're literally like having a baby. You have to learn how do we want to raise the baby? How do we want to, like, do we want them to go to private school? Do we want them to go to public school? Do we want them to do this? Like, but that's what you're doing with a business.
Yeah.
And like, maybe for instance, you have kids and your partner's more patient in this thing versus this thing. You know what I mean? Like, but that's how it is in business too. Right. And so
I'm just laughing. Sorry to cut you off. I saw this meme the other day and it said like the P in my name stands for patience, and that's why it's not there, because I just don't have any. So that made me laugh.
So that's why I used it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like, you know what I mean? Like, that's my point, right? And so I think it's really special that you find the right person. If you're gonna build a business, and like they say what, if you wanna what is it? Go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Right? And like, I like how you thought exactly where I was going with that. Love that. So it's like this thought process of like, you guys are gonna go long term. You guys are gonna build it the right way. And you've had so much growth over the last year. Yeah. Like, when did you start your team?
This year.
Right? Like,
yeah. It was actually, we have a sticky note on the wall. Where do we want to be July 29th, 2025? So it's been, we got the ball rolling, I would say, in September. Yeah. That's when she came over to the brokerage that I'm at now. Yeah. And we really started our team, I want to say like September or October. So yes.
But you went on your own when?
December.
Oh, wait. Of last year?
Yeah. So just at very, very end of 2023.
2023.
So then I
yes.
was
okay,
solo.
we're 25. Okay, yes.
I was solo for like 6 months, and then she came over, and then we started our team 2 months later.
It tripped me out because I was like, I remember that conversation. I was like, it was only in December, but it was in December before.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so like over the last year, you've gone from being with, the brokerage that you've been with from when you started, right? Or team or whatever. And then going solo to building your team to having multiple agents working for you.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's really exciting. I'm so happy.
I
just feel like I have always, I was at a conference like years ago, and I just saw these people up there talking about their team, talking about whatever, and I was like, that's gonna be me.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it is you.
Yeah.
It's you. That's so awesome. So now, okay, I have a couple more questions.
Yeah.
One of them, like, where do people find you? Like, how could they connect with you?
Oh, Instagram, usually.
Okay. What's your...
At Dani Fehmel, DaniFehmel.
Okay. And then someone is in... I got 2 more questions for you. Because I got to separate them.
Okay.
One is someone's in the position that you were in college. She's studying or he's studying. Doesn't really know what they want to do with their lives. Trying to figure it out. Like, what piece of advice would you give them?
Find, like you said, when you're getting into business, like, find someone who is doing what you want to do and latch onto them. Like, whether you are new and you want to find a mentor in that field, or like find the business partner that you want to collaborate with, find someone who is like-minded with, so similarly to you, and doing the things that you want to do.
Love that.
And just pick their brain and do all of the things. If they tell you to do something, you go do it. If they tell you to read a book, you read that book. If they tell you to do X, Y, and Z, the next time you see them a week later, you sure as shit better tell them that you did those things.
Yeah.
There's nothing more infuriating to me. Now we're getting mad. Woo! No. It's so infuriating when people ask for advice and they don't take it and they don't do the things. It's how I built my business. Is someone, my mentor, would say, you need to go out and do blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, yes, ma'am. And I would go and I would do it. And here we are.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny because I tell people, like, I'll give you advice once. If you take it, like, cool. Then I'll continue to help you. If you don't, next time you call me, I'm going to charge you. Yeah. Like, pretty simple. I'll give it to you for free. Yeah. And the next time, I'll give you an invoice. Mm-hmm. Like that. Then you can decide if you want to ask me for the advice or not. Right. And then, it's 100% because I think what I've found is a lot of people, successful people, whether in business or life or whatever, like I enjoy giving back. I enjoy helping people grow and try and get them to where I want to be. But like, if they don't want it themselves.
I love when people tell me what their goal and their dream is, and being the biggest hype girl, cheerleader. Yep. I'm like, what do you want to do? Like, I don't just help people in real estate. Like, you tell me that you want to go X, Y, and Z. Like, what can we do to help you get there? Because I'm such like a accomplishment is a huge value of mine. And I'm like, what can I do to help other people feel that feeling? 'Cause it's the best. Yeah,
100%. I'm the same way. And then, but again, like, you could lead a horse to water, right? Yep. Like, you could tell them exactly, hey, this is what you got to do. And if you don't do it, like,
they got to do it.
They got to do it. Yeah.
That's my advice. Do it. Someone tells you to do it, who's doing what you want to do, go do it.
So get thrown out from Danny's office because you didn't do it next time.
Throw bows.
Yeah, exactly. So next question that I have for you
so weird.
is someone's in the position of you as like they're top in their office, they're absolutely crushing it. Whether it's the next step is to open their own team or make that next kind of leap, maybe open their own brokerage or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, what piece of advice would you give them? That's a whole different scenario.
Yeah, it's a whole different scenario. I think that's a couple of things. One is believe in yourself and go back to basics, and don't think that you need to go out and reinvent the wheel and do something big and crazy. It's if you want to go solo in whatever capacity that is if you're like, what do I do next? Just make your calls. Make your coffee appointments and do that. Don't forget that, like, that's how you built your business to begin with, or whatever that you did to build it. Yeah. That's just what I did. But so don't forget about that. Yep. Like, you get all excited about building a team and doing this, but at the end of the day, you're still responsible probably for paying bills, and you got to go sell some houses.
Yeah.
So don't forget to do that stuff along the way. And the other thing would be to like, it's a little counterintuitive to the analysis paralysis that we talked about, but just do a little bit of research, see what's out there, ask people questions. I remember I came to you and said, what are the things that I need to be asking to give yourself a little more leverage to put yourself in better positions, whether you go solo or whether you go on whatever that might look like, is figure out, see the people who have done the path before you and just ask for help, because they want to help you. Because anyone who has been successful in starting their own business wants other people to be successful in starting their own business. You see stuff on like all of the time where no entrepreneur, no business person is going to shoot down your awesome idea that you have, because at one time they had that awesome idea. They started exactly where you were. 100%. You know what I mean? So I love that. Do your research, ask the right questions, and make the decision and just freaking go with it.
I love that. So it's like when you make the decision, go back to the basics. Don't forget the basics. And I always say, like, life is about, you learn from experiences, but they don't need to be your own, right? So like, go take someone else's experiences and say, hey, what do I do? Yeah. How do I do it?
Learn from their mistakes. They're going to say, don't do this. You're like, all right, I was going to do that. So now we're good.
Missed that one.
Yeah.
I'll go find another thing to go stake on.
We'll go find the next thing to fail at.
I think that's all part of that's part of building a business, right? Like, is like being okay with failing, like being okay with like accepting the fact that you're going to fail.
Yeah, shit's gonna happen.
I think that's something so hard for so many people, is to accept that, like, because we're taught our whole lives failure is bad.
Yeah.
We're taught if you get a bad grades, you're punished, right? Like, your whole life you are taught failure is the worst thing that you can do. Then all of a sudden you become an entrepreneur and it's like, fail. Like, you should go fail. You should chase failure. You should chase failure because that's what leads to growth. Yeah. So it's like our whole lives we're told, don't fail, don't fail, don't fail, don't fail. It's the worst thing for you. Then all of a sudden you have to actually, like, when you're in real life, you have to actually learn that, like, failure's a good thing.
Yeah. It's where you learn it. It's where you can really assess, like, what went wrong, what went right, how to build on the good stuff.
It also means that you're pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
uncomfortable.
Yeah. You got to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that. For me, I think I already know the title of this, and it's going to be Bet on Yourself.
Boo, baby.
Because I think that's what your story tells.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again, from when you're younger to doing your daily jobs, to doing everything. Like, it's just let me do what I do best. Let me bet on myself, and then going to college, and then going from there, and and I think that's a huge thing. Is like sometimes you just got to bet in yourself and take the leap and go crush it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.